Hi, everybody. This is James Van Praagh, and welcome to Life After Death and Beyond. I'm here with my good friend, Kellee White. Good evening, Kellee.
Hi, James. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. And I've been looking really forward to the show. A very special friend and guest. And when did you first meet her, Kellee?
I met our special guest at your house on your
My
60th birthday. And she's so lovely. And it was so great that she flew all the way from Boston to join you on your 60th. It was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is my good friend and incredible medium, Maureen Hancock. Maureen, welcome. Come on in.
Come on in. Hi. Welcome.
Hi, Maureen.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, how did you guys meet?
Well. Okay. So we met on the Ricky Lake show, but let me just back up.
Wait. We met on the Ricky Lake show, but before that happened, then we met Ricky, or no? Ricky first.
We met with Ricky first, but the other thing happened before that.
Oh, it happened before that. Okay.
So we had a stalker. We had somebody that put a hit out on us because we were both connected to the Ghost Whisperer TV show and producers, and just a little bit off, or a lot off. And James called me, and I was recovering from my curse of the Irish colon, diverticulitis, and I couldn't believe it. It said James Van Praagh, and I was like, "Is this a joke?" And then I was like, "Hello," and he was like, "Hey, honey, can you believe we were only worth $3,000?"
So it was a guy who put a hit out on us for $3,000, and I guess the FBI was involved in it. And there was a sting operation. I think they caught him on an expressway or something. And he was a prior prisoner, mental health concerns. And I think he thought we were the Antichrist or something weird. And yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, I actually had a file on my desk about it too. Stalkers. That was weird. And then we met in the Ricky Lake show.
And right away, it was just like kismet. We've known each other for years, and we started to do an Irish jig.
Exactly. You came right off the set, and I was in the backstage, and I looked at you and looked at me, and we started in the Irish jig. And then we've never stopped.
Yeah, and it was so fun, and that was like the best episode.
It was great. When did you start your first mediumship, and how did it start for you? So people that don't know you, who should, well, they will now. Tell them how you started.
So as a child, I had lead paint poisoning back in the day when everything was lead paint based. I chewed the windowsills. I slipped into a coma. I was in Children's Hospital in Boston from 2 years old to 5. And when I came home from the hospital after brain surgeries and shunts and comas, I used to see what I now know were spirits walking around the house. And as you both know, kids are really open to seeing spirits, but it was crazy. And they would walk through walls, and they would dress like pilgrims. And I know. And then I shut it off as a child. It was scary. I was in a car accident at 25 years old, fell asleep at the wheel coming home from the night at the Roxy in Boston. I was designated, but working long hours in a law firm, broke every bone in my face. And then with that, it opened up that portal that we all have. And I started to hear instead of seeing. And then it's just been a whirlwind. I was a stand-up comedian, and I became dubbed the comedian medium. So I just make it a celebration of life. It's not to take away from how heavy this is, but it definitely makes it a little bit more available. The medium next door.
That's right. You had a book, The Medium Next Door. Yeah.
Yes, my one book.
Your one and a TV show, The Medium Next Door, right?
Yeah. Yes, Psychic in Suburbia.
Psychic in Suburbia. There we go. Yeah.
Was
it on the Style Channel or something?
On the Style Network, and then Style went bankrupt, and Oprah Winfrey wanted to pick it up, and my family all quit, and I don't blame them, because producers that we were working with tried to just, make us scripted, and it was just they made my nieces look bad, and so bye.
Yeah, and your nieces are all mediums as well, right?
Yes. So my niece medium Candace Dalton, and Anastasia Grace, runs in the family.
It does.
Irish.
Yeah. And when did you decide that you had to do it professionally? Like when you had the car accident, were Were you doing it in the car accident or before that?
No, so after. So I was always doing, like, I studied Chinese medicine in Boston and doing all kinds of acupuncture and shiatsu and into that. But I was working at Logan Airport, going to school at night, doing comedy at night downtown Boston. And anyway, that was a turning point because 9/11 happened and my office overlooked where the planes took off. It was just a terrible thing. I had just had my second baby. So that was when I left and I started a cancer foundation and I work with children now who are getting ready to pass with cancer. I've worked with thousands of adults though.
You worked with a lot of people. You've done a
Yeah.
lot of volunteer work. Yeah.
And then FBI on missing persons. And I just kind of, but that was a turning point. So it's been like, gosh, 25 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
I'm one of the mediums I would say has the highest integrity, Maureen. Really, it's one of the things about you have integrity and responsibility always,
Really.
which is very funny because she uses a lot of comedy, but it's done in a way, and I appreciate the sense of humor. It's done in a care-free, loving, joyful, fun way, and you're very witty and quick. So you're sharing that, and it throws people off a little bit, so it's easier for them to become aware of the spirit, isn't it?
Yes. And, laughter is the best medicine and vibration. So as soon as the frequency goes up when they laugh, but then it opens the aura and then I'm in. And I think I balance that compassion and along with the celebration of life comedy and that it's enough that people I feel like when they're starting to lose it, you might do this too, James, that I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let me get them out of this cycle and bring back the good memories.
Yeah. You, Kelly, as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. That's just incredible. Kelly, you have a question for Maureen?
Yeah, I do. So many people are talking about losing their spouse. How do you go about handling when you have a case like that, when you have a client that comes in to see you that's lost their beloved spouse of, many, many, many years?
It's so hard. And the first thing that I'll talk about is what a lot of them say, especially if they had illness, they'll say I want you to be happy again. I want you to find love. And here's a big one. This is what they say. If you can't live for you, then I want you to live for me and I'll live through you. And it seems to kind of okay, I can't get out of bed, but I know Tom's going to want me to do this or
Yeah.
Elizabeth or whatever. And so the first thing is giving yourself permission that you can have love again. And sometimes I'll joke, they'll say you don't have to marry him. Or they'll go, why don't you travel the world? And a lot of times they'll say find a companion, somebody that you can spend time with. And, a lot of them are later in life. So I say, hey, you live at your place, you live at yours, and then come together to have love again in your life. And spirit helps guide them.
So that's a question I have for you, Maureen. How often do you have these, and Kelly, you too, have a partner come through and say, I'm going to help you, not to happen all the time, but percentage-wise, I'm going to help you find someone else in life to love. Do you have that a lot? Either one of you?
I do. I really do. And
people are either very receptive or not at all right?
Yep. Or they are friends with that person, and I'll be like, who's Pat? Oh, it's my husband's friend. And I'm like,
yes.
Oh, has he been helping you out a lot? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, listen, he's a great guy. Your husband wants this. Or even if it's the opposite way, or I just read a woman and she lost her soulmate wife. And she's like, I feel like Ellie will be upset if I move forward. I'm like, no, she wants this for you. That's what they want. You got to keep moving and experience life and do all these great things, because when you smile and laugh and you feel joy again, it raises the vibration and it actually helps them get closer to you so you can have more connection and make a non-physical relationship continue, because they're not
that's beautiful.
Right.
I've had several people who've lost their spouses who absolutely will not only want to be with their spouses. And in fact, I had one the other day that passed away. She decided not to take medication for her cancer, and she just really wanted to pass so she could be with her beloved husband. I mean, that kind of a soulmate connection. I've run into several now. What do you think about that?
Okay, I love this question. So I just feel that there are different types of soulmates. So you
Yes.
have the companion soulmate.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks that have found their twin flame, the one, and that mirror of their soul, and a lot of times later in life, by the way, that perhaps, and I'll offer this and I'll say, listen, she was your ultimate twin flame soulmate, but there's still a companion out there. And you can have different levels of soulmates. And, they don't want you died with them. Like, come on. If you can't do it for you, do it for them. And there's the spark again.
Mm.
Right?
Very good. Very good.
Mm.
Yeah.
How many people do you think hold on to that? I've had a lot of clients where they just hold on to that one love in their life, and it's like, I just don't want to move on with my life. I want to be with them, and they just go into this total depression and stay reclusive.
It's so hard, and it's like the ultimate complicated grief, but it's almost like they feel guilty if they smile and laugh. Even if they go out with their friends for a pizza, they tell me they feel guilty. They're like, I shouldn't be laughing. I shouldn't. And I'm like, oh, it's quite the opposite. It's
Right.
like the bartender when they get a big tip and they ring the bell. So picture
Right.
your love going like, yes, like even if you just go out with friends and and then but there's always room in there for some type of love, like I said, even if it's a companion or a friend to travel with or somebody to have great conversations. And then I often do a match made in heaven. And so I'll take a widow and a widower and hook them up, or both. I'm open to all. Or two female, two men, everybody, sister wives, whatever. And but I'll match them up. And
Tell us about recently what you did, Maureen, you little imp, you, about the love matching that you did on the computer
oh
online.
my gosh. Okay.
It's hilarious.
Are you ready? So my friend Carrie Brett, she's a Boston celebrity photographer, but she has a podcast called Shot at Love because she had success on Tinder. She couldn't find love, so she was on Match.com. She was so afraid to find love, and I said, "Listen, why don't I pretend I'm you on Match and Tinder and some of the other ones, and I'm gonna vet them based on what your grandmother's telling me from the other side about them, but I'll also psychically be able to tell if they're lying." So I would be on Match, and then I'd have her on my other device, and I'd be like, "Oh, how long have you been divorced? Oh, it's been 5 years. He's lying. He's not even divorced. Your grandmother Margaret just told me." And then I'd be like, "Oh, this guy, he's saying that he's 6'2". I can see he's 5'6". He's 5. He's a little leprechaun. That's a true story. And so I have a whole chapter in her book called Shot at Love. It just came out, and I love it to pieces. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't typically do that. But then then I was like, oh yes, my daughter is 12 years old, and my grandmother's from Cork, Ireland, and then she goes out with the guy, and he's like, oh, tell me about your 12-year-old daughter. She's like, oh, my daughter's 10. You told me she was 12, so she looked terrible. And then, my grandmother's from Cork too. And she's like, my grandmother's from Killarney. And I'm like, oh crap, that's my grandmother. I started to get so invested that Maureen Hancock.
That's hysterical.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What advice do you give Maureen if they want to say, can you help me find my soulmate? What do you tell them?
Here's what I say. If you find your soulmate. So first of all, really paving the way to open your heart when it might be so closed off. And guess what? Grieving, that love will always be there, and grieving will be forever, but it ebbs and flows and it changes like the fingerprint. So open your heart by doing this, just little baby steps. First of all, they hear you. Call in your team. You have a team. You have your spirit guides. You have your guardian angels. You have your loved ones in spirit, and not just that person that you physically lost. Call them in. Set your intention, have a vision board, cut out pictures of Fabio. Who gives a crap, right?
With the long hair.
But whatever it is, it might be like the places your bucket list, like Italy and Greece, and then like a man or a woman who likes to hike, and put it all out there, because you can manifest what you
Yes.
so desire, but you have to get out of your own damn way. But so the first step is, leading with your heart and not your head. Start to go on walks. Self-care. You want to reset your nervous system. How do you do that? Simple. Few tips. Turn your shower on cold at the end. Put your head under, count to 10. That's a vagus nerve reset. Because with grief, you're walking around like this and you just feel off. Get in the ocean. Put your feet in. Go for infrared healing. Do some cold plunging. Stand out in the grass and ground yourself. Even with shoes on, if you touch a tree, a grounding tool is going to tell you you're grounded. So start to eat clean, get moving, because so many people, I just want to stay in, and sometimes they become even agoraphobic. So the first step is maybe even just make a cup of tea. Start to just be more zen. Make friends with people. Go to groups, widowers groups, because guess what? They didn't screw up either. They don't have the baggage, right? Because they loved so deeply, and so did you. But give love a chance, because guess what? All you need is love. Wah, 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 wah.
All you need is.
And let's talk. You guys are doing a healing group. Tell us about that. Coming
Yes,
up.
we're doing a Healing Grief Week workshop. We were going to do it in person, but then something happened funky. So we want to do it online, because we really told people from the Helping Parents Heal, we're going to workshop together. And we love working together. Incredible. And so we're going to do a Healing Grief workshop online. And it's April 18th and 19th. And it's going to be a weekend event. And we're just going to give different ways, methods, if you will, ways of dealing with grief, going through grief, and healing grief. I use a lot of my book, Healing Grief, as well, the techniques I've used in many of those chapters and so forth. And we'll discuss lots of different types of grief as well.
Yes.
And why it's beneficial to heal grief.
I love it. And then, like, with my background too, finding joy through grief with all kinds of holistic healing and self-care. And also we're going to do readings. So you don't
We're
want
going to do readings as well. Yep.
I can do a ton. So
Maureen does like 10 in 5 minutes. I mean, and fully, like, full on. And detail.
Yeah. So I can't wait. And, tickets are going to go super fast, because this is our first kind of weekend thing together. And I can't wait.
I know. We've been talking about it for years, and we're finally doing it, because your schedule is also very busy. You keep very, very busy.
Yeah. I was doing 3 to 4 events a week, but I started to burn out a bit. So I'm just trying to do a couple 2025, like 2 a week. And, but it is, I love getting on stage. Like, I'm that theater girl, and the laughter just carries it, and the tears, and it's just fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh my gosh.
What else do you have coming up, James?
I have a retreat in Maui in July, and it's a soul retreat. And it's working with healing the mind, with the things we carry in our mind with us every day, the dirt in our mind. Isn't the dirt, but the stuff that stays there, and all the traumas that we have. And then I'm working on with Sue White, who's a wonderful healer and yoga professional specialist. She does retreats all over the world, and she's going to help with getting trauma out of the body, the different poses that we do to release it. She does it with me every week. So we got to do this together. I mean, and then of course the last part is going to be the spirit. So learning intuition, how to connect with your loved ones, your guides, and do readings, and have each other do readings. And it's a full day. We do ecstatic dance at night, and it's a resort. We're taking out the resort. It's only 20 spaces. So, yeah.
When is it? Like towards the end or beginning?
Middle of July. Yeah. Nice. It's on our website, everybody, if you want to go. So it's going to be really fun. So that's my big thing for the year. My only retreat I'm doing. Your workshop, mine, and that's it. So, yeah.
Sherry Abdu says that, Maureen, you and James were amazing at the Helping Parents Heal conference.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That was so powerful. And wow.
And that's helping families with grief.
Yeah, definitely. And, even kids come through and they say, like, because a lot of parents, end up separating or getting divorced after the physical loss of a
True.
child.
True.
And that child will come through a lot of times and say, hey, you guys have grown apart and here's where you're at now. And I want you to find love. I want you to find love. They always want us to come back to love and connection and just having somebody to like have conversations with and heal with. Right, James?
Very, very true. I was writing today about a story that happened with a reading I did many years ago in a demonstration, and it was about a boy that died in a car accident by a drunk driver. And I remember the mother and father in the audience, and I said, he wants you to forgive the drunk driver. And the mother said, no, I will never do that. I'll never do that. And he said, please, I've forgiven him. Why can't you? And then he went on to explain how, you get forgiveness. It's a gift you give yourself, because if you hold on to that sense of not forgiving, you're blocking everything, and it really shuts you down and really can hurt you physically eventually, So he actually helped them to get through that. And years later, I heard that the mother and father opened up some kind of a center for addicts, for people, alcohol or did a whole little center. So it's still happening. So that was pretty cool. If you can use a hard situation, loss of a loved one, child or a mate, and do something with it in a positive way. They always want positive things. One thing I noticed, Maureen, when you were working in helping parents heal, she has so many messages within, half an hour, you do 30. And really content is right there. But what I love with you, the way you work is you'll work with spirit and bring you to over that corner of the room and back to that corner of the room and that one. And then you'll find that they all have something to do with each other. They're all connected in some way. That happens a lot with you, doesn't it?
It really does. And just the other night at a theater, same thing. It's like all these young kids were coming through and they all passed the same way. And, I was like, oh, they have more in common. And, I can't remember the details, but that happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that too. I remember once in New York, I was doing a reading, and it was a really weird disease that this girl died of, this young girl. And then she brought through the boy, Alex. And I said, I'm going to go down here to you guys. And it was a really strange disease. It was a brain disorder. And they both had it. It's a rare thing. And they both had it. They died that way. And they met each other in the spirit world. And they both worked on getting both sets of parents to that theater that night. So they do so much work behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. And so to add a little bit more, just because I'm seeing some of the comments about, not just like finding love again and whatever that means to you, but finding yourself first. Because like I said, half of you goes with them. And then when you get to a point and there's no measurement of finding yourself so that you can be a clearer channel to connect to spirit, connect to your guides and all the guidance that's available for you to not only find that soulmate or companion, right? But to be clear on what you want for the rest of your physical time here to make them proud. And so, getting out and moving. So taking a yoga class, I own a yoga studio, so I'm a little biased. I've seen great things happen though, with, like you said, James, like somatic movement and trying to get that trauma, the issues in the tissues and
tissues, exactly.
Right. Like I went dancing Friday night and it felt so good. And I just felt like I was healed. And so you got to move your body, meditate. And a lot of folks say to me, it's so hard though. Like I can't sit still. I'm the same way. So I do guided meditation. I'll throw on like harp music and somebody that's just like, you're at the ocean, and then really like go to the wilderness, go to the forest, tree bathe. When I go before an event, I have to take my dogs into the woods, and trees release oxytocin. So you're constantly on cortisol when you're grieving and you're stressed and you're angry and you're going through all the motions. So you got to do things like just a warm bath and put Himalayan salt in it, because that ionizes and gets your vibration really raised. So it's all about raising your vibration so that you can be a clearer channel to find yourself, find love, and make the connection stronger to the beyond.
And they have to, there are people that are losing hope. After they've lost their loved one, they lose hope. What is a good way to get them even to be motivated to do that? Because everything you're saying is so right on, and that's really what everybody needs to do, is to get in their body and start to move again. But some of them feel guilty. There's a lot of guilt that goes on.
There is. And so I say, 1 minute at a time, one
That's
step
good.
at a time. It might just be that little cup of tea. It might just be putting some lipstick on and going out with your friends. But like, even if you make yourself, because a lot of people will make plans and they're like, oh, I got to think of an excuse. And I bet you a lot of your listeners and followers will relate. It's like, oh, I'm going to say that I don't feel good. And so I always say, like, you know what? Speak your truth. No is a complete sentence. So have these non-negotiable boundaries that it's okay to not be okay, but also, so baby steps. So say, tomorrow I'm going to take a sound bowl meditation class, and you really have to force yourself. The next day I'm going to do, this walk by the ocean and put my feet in. And the next day I'm going to go to a place that does, some kind of certain massage or do infrared healing and start working on you. But nobody can push you out the door. You really have to take that step. And when you do, I promise you're going to say, oh, wow, I feel so much better. So it's about getting the energy in the body aligned so that you can have the connection to your love. You got to work on you and not just sit there and like, where are you? Where are you? I need a sign. I need this. Change your energy to, hey, slow down your energy. Come closer. Make it more.
You're so funny. I just hit in my head, and you're saying it now. So I was going to add to that because this just came to my head, that, when you have a loved one, you don't move on with your life. Imagine they're standing right there looking at you. Do you want them to see you that way? Do you want them to see you depressed and not living life fully? How do you want them to see you? Because they're observing you. They know more about you now in the spirit world from there than in the physical, but they're watching you. And do you want to be sad and depressed and lonesome while they're watching you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Amazing. And my work with hospice, I'll tell you, so watching people and kids and adults pass, this is what I've noticed time and time again. Of course, they're reaching for them, who's there to bring them home. But on the passing, this is what I want you to know, whether they passed unexpected or through illness, this is what it's like. It's beautiful. Yeah. And the feeling is, I'm there in the room and the vibration is shaking. And, even my mother, Leah, grabbed my arm. She's like, oh, it's like beyond. It's amazing. And even Steve Jobs, who didn't believe. And when he passed, he went, wow. Oh, wow. So I want everyone to know it's, oh, wow for them. And they want, oh, wow for us here.
So true. It's so true. They want your light to be bright. It's like a light bulb. Turn up that wattage. They want you to be seen. They want you to experience life, because that's why we're here on this planet. We've come back to experience life, not to shut down, but to live. It's a gift.
Do you think that what they're doing on the other side for us, our soulmates on the other side, are they imprinting on us to go out and do something? Are they imprinting, go to the beach today?
Good one, Kelly. Yes. So, a lot of folks have said, like, I know my loved one sent this person to me or that person to me. And it is almost like going into a bookstore and you feel drawn to a certain book or a crystal, or you're at the beach and you look down and see a heart-shaped rock. So you're right, Kelly. They are doing the imprint and they're doing a nudge from above. Hey, you won't be able to stop thinking about something like going, why do I feel like I need to go to the supermarket now? And then you run into someone, why do I keep feeling like I need to go down to Cape Cod this weekend? And then all these serendipitous things happen, but it's all been lined up.
My friend Julie just found, a good friend of mine here was walking into Trader Joe's, and this man said, hello, Julie. And she goes, oh, hi, Dan. Haven't seen him for a long time. And he used to know her ex-boyfriend, who was not great. And they'd broken for a long time. And her and this guy, Dan, connected, because why haven't we seen each other? I was his phone number. And now it's a complete love story. And when she was with him, her father came right to me and said, I put this together. This was a match made in heaven. This is heaven made. And a marriage made in heaven. And it was totally true. And then having dinner with them, and then Dan's father's behind them. And I was like, should I say something? Because I would never do that. But I had this kid, he's just pushing me to say it. I said, he's here with your Julie's father. Your father put this together. So it does. And this after years and years of being alone in their 70s, 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens, everybody.
And
It
that
does.
did happen to me. So my husband, we knew each other in high school. I was madly in love with him, stalking him. And then, he moved to Germany in the army, and I literally cried for 30 years.
Wow.
And then I didn't realize he lived in my town. And
Wow.
somebody said to me, you went to Norfolk County Agricultural School. Do you know Johnny Hatfield? And I was like, yeah. Oh, he owns Bridgewater Martial Arts in my town. I was like, really? And that night I had my 10-year-old son at the time in karate. Bam, bam.
Oh my gosh.
My son was like, I don't even like karate. I'm like, shut up, kid. It's just one night.
Wait a minute. So
But-
this was somebody that you were connected with in high school who you had loved. And then years later, you married him.
30 years later, he was in my town. And then he ended up coming to an event before we got together, and there was 200 people, and I just happened to look out, and so I was like, and I couldn't go out. Told my manager, I'm not going on stage. She's like, you have to. It's 200 people. So I avoided his section until the end, and I went over. I said, there's a woman here in spirit. Her name's Anna. She had lymphoma. She was 62, blah, blah, blah. And it was slow motion. That's my mother. I was like, no. I had to read him. And then we friended each other on Facebook. And the story.
The rest is history. Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Whoa. So
And
do
I
you think that they helped put you back together?
They put us together.
Yeah.
They put us together because my dad passed, and he knew my father. And then my mom is now passed, but he knew my father. I do feel like it was definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They pulled the strings, for sure. 100%.
Wow. What a great story.
Yeah.
Oh, how long have you been married?
Coming up on 8 years.
Wow.
It was like 10, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And how does he deal with mediumship?
Oh, he's afraid of me. he can know all the karate he wants. I'm like, we have an Irish medium wife. But he definitely believes and supports me. He doesn't like that I work so much, but yeah, we just did a pilot for a TV show, but it's not right. They just want to, James, they just want to be in our house and follow us.
Yeah.
And I'm not having it. And I'm finally at the age in menopause dried up that I can say, no, it doesn't. I'm too tired. Like they were like, we're not interested in the readings. We just want to follow you. No, I'm very private, even though I'm.
Yeah, no, it's true. You got to be have solitude as well.
Yeah.
As a medium, you need to have the quiet time because you're always in the other levels of vibration that you need to come back to yourself. And I get a massage every week, and that's my grounding, and I do yoga twice a week, and that really helps.
Yeah, and I teach yoga twice a week, and I teach qigong, and I do sound bowl meditation and all that. So the reason why I teach is because I need it the most.
Yeah.
It makes me have to do it. I do tapping. People can do tapping. Do you ever do tapping?
Oh, yeah. It's really good for you. It's great to release trauma, too.
It really is. Just
Yeah.
hit everything. Just be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Gosh.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And
So tell them what happened to you with your massage, because that's wild.
Well, it's really interesting. So when I get a massage, it's I just surrender. And the massage therapist is a healer. He's been working now for 4 years with me, and he's lovely. The best one is he doesn't really realize how talented he is. And I've seen lights and color and energy there. And I've seen guides and beings, some of his, some of mine. He came to my front door once, 2 years ago. And I said, oh, I'm very sorry. Your mom just passed. He goes, yeah, today. I said, she's standing right next to you. And I just barely knew the guy. I'm like, oh, but he was really great with that. So I got a massage last night, and I'm lying on the table and I'm just surrendering. And I'm very aware of the space above me. And there's this beautiful bright light, but it's around me. And it starts to fill up with my brother who just passed. And he tells me things about all the family members on the other side, his children here. Then all of a sudden I see all old friends of mine. and from that I used to be in development circles with, to best friends with past, to a lot of different, my sister's father-in-law and mother-in-law, they're just saying hi. And they said, your brother's very much like you with his sense of humor. He's got everyone cracking up. It was a really amazing experience. And I was like transported. I was there and yet here. And I felt at the time that I was more there. And I was very aware how open it was. And they just wanted to say that they just love me. They enjoyed my brother and it's fun. And it was really pretty trippy. And he said, they live in different communities. So I said, do you see mom? He goes, yeah, she's working with the young women who just passed over. And my father's going to school. And I asked my brother what he's going to do. And he said, well, I'm teaching craftsmanship to children, which he did craftsmanship in life. And so it's really interesting, that vibration, that frequency. And it was very easy to talk to them because it was my mind just opening up and making sentences telepathically. And it was coming in and impressing, Kelly, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And impressing would be the word. And stepping in front and connecting mind to mind. And they didn't have to speak verbally. It was just thoughts back and forth. And I saw faces, and I just felt their energy. But I saw a lot of the faces as well. And it was really interesting. I said, why are you all here? Am I going somewhere? I said, but no. When you relax, we can get close to you. So,
yes, 100%.
Which is what you were saying. If you want to get in touch with your loved one on the other side, really, you do have to be in a kind of a quiet state, in a calm state of mind.
And all they want to do is come close to you. That's all they want to do, is be with you, right?
Because we can't help, right? Or grieving to have an on-demand button, like, please, please, give me a sign, make this happen, da, 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 da. And you got to slow it down. You got to say, hey, I'm like chill. I'm like, hey, if you can, you can. Slow down your energy, make it more obvious, but try not to be so demanding, because then it's reverse magnets going the wrong way. And I'm watching some
great analogy. Yeah.
Really great.
So I'm watching some of these comments where folks are saying like, hey, my dad lost my mom and he's in his 80s, or mom and the vice versa. They were married 60 something years. So for those scenarios, they're like, what's the advice? And then, they're not looking for a new love, but you never know. But this is where they want to make a non-physical connection with their husband, wife, soulmate, partner, fiance, where they're going to write them letters to heaven, right? Write them some letters, or just little, even for like guys that might not write a lot, little Post-it notes, and just they still see what you're writing, but also just being quiet and getting the bird feeders all set up so that, when you're seeing the cardinals and then the hummingbirds and the different birds, because my father always says, I didn't turn into a damn cardinal. God, could you hear me? They can most certainly use their energy to make them show up to you. And if they're not mobile, right, get them a whole bunch of bird feeders, enjoying nature. And there are ways that they can connect more deeply, and sitting in silence, Kelly, like you said, even just sitting. Yeah. And then say to them, hi, are you there? And listen to what comes back. You think that you're making it up. The most common question I get asked, I don't know about you two, is how can I differentiate between what is my own thoughts and what is spirit? And spirit will keep repeating. Spirit will be nudgy. Spirit will go at first and then get louder until you listen. So write out a bunch of questions, your top 10. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? And have them answer back to you in your silence.
Yeah.
And it's not you making it up.
That's what I did last time with my brother. And it was one. So what are you doing? What's mom doing? What's dad doing? And it was very quick, very fast. And it's just be open to that. And as you said, writing a letter, I tell people all the time, one of the best exercises I tell people to do is write a letter to your loved one. Write everything out. Because as you said, they hear your thoughts. They hear you writing. They know the words because they can hear your thoughts, what you're writing down. And then I say, take that and fold it and put it away for a couple of weeks. Write in your calendar to get another letter going. In 2 weeks, you get a pad out or paper, and you write a letter from them to you.
Yes.
It works really well. That's a really good way. I mean, there's so much around us. Another exercise I love is you sit in the silence, you sit in that quiet space, and you invite them to stand next to you, to stand with you, to share that space with you. You know, our thoughts are one, our vision is one, our words are one, our emotions are one. Two become one. We share this space, and it works really well because love is what brings them in.
Love
But
that. And
yeah,
I will do this one too. And it's just a qigong move, but it's everybody's move. And just like building the energy, build the
Yeah.
energy, and then slow it down and then bounce it. And that's what energy feels like of spirit. And then sit back, meditate, pray, whatever works. Close your eyes and sit back and tell them to push against your hands.
good one.
And you can feel it.
That's a good one.
That's a great one. Oh my gosh.
And it's energy, right?
Oh, totally. What about in the dreams? Do you guys have where people will say, come to me in my dreams, come to me in my dreams? I get that one a lot, but often they do come in the dreams.
Well, that's the most common way they communicate, the dream state, because we're not so much in our head, our physical body, so we're able to be open and surrender. Like I was last night, just open and surrendering, and didn't think about it. When you think about it, it blocks it, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I teach people how to have dream visits, and here's the advice.
Good.
So it's almost like when I do a past life regression, I bring people back and I have them go into this house and different rooms and see what is everybody wearing, what are they doing, what's on the walls, what's the food they're eating. So with a loved one in spirit, if you want to try to have a dream, I have chills. So you think about your best memory. Maybe it's a vacation or the last time you saw them healthy and happy, and it could be a celebration or a Thanksgiving or whatnot. And for 3 to 5 minutes before you go to sleep, see everything. What are they wearing? What are you eating? What are you talking about? What does it look like all around you? Just like a past life regression. And it opens a door. It opens the portal for them to come through, and you're more relaxed. And then they can come in a dream visit. And usually it's 60 to 70% success rate after 5 days of doing this. But it might happen right away.
Wow. That's a great idea.
Right?
I had one the other day, which was really great because, my sister and brother passed, and they both, of course, knew what I did. And I was at 5 o'clock in the morning in that twilight state, and all of a sudden I hear bang, 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 bang on my bedroom door. And I thought it was this man staying here who was helping Peter. I thought he was ill. I opened my door, no one's there. And then it hit me. Oh, it's those two. And I remember they were like, little kids. And I remember when they were alive, they said, we passed for you. We're going to come back to you and we're going to haunt you, And it was funny. And I said to them, I knew it was them. And I said, really? Next time, show yourself more.
I can see
it's really weird that my
that
came through yesterday. And I was telling Kellee this. It was so weird, Maureen. I would swear to God, I never do this. And my brother comes to visit me when he was in the physical. He used to come and fix things. He was a craftsman. So yesterday, I'm taking WD-40, going around to all the metal areas and hinges. And I'm like, what am I doing? Oh, my brother, it's him. And then I started power washing the house. Don't ask. I've never power washed anything.
Wait, no. Didn't you WD the coyote fence?
The coyote fence, the gate that goes all the way around my property. And it's, I don't know, I'd never do that. And I'd never do power washing. Hello, I didn't know how to turn the thing on. So it was weird. And I knew it was him. And he said in my head, I'm with you. It's me. See, I'm here taking care of you. He was going to move here, by the way. He was going to move into my house. We discussed that. And there was a room already for him. And so that's funny because I'm still with you now, but I can come and go as I please. So they're always around us and they'll influence us. And it's just such a subtle feeling. It's such a subtle sense. But the more we think about it, the more the doors close. So you just got to be open to everything and get in your heart space, your heart light.
Yeah. And I saw somebody wrote like, hey, I've always been single. I don't want to be alone forever. Will I find lasting relationship with a good man? And soon. And it's like, okay, so I want you to know that you do have some power to really truly manifest. So working on not only the self-care, the somatic healing, trauma release, whatever it is that could be blocking why that isn't happening. So taking a look at what do I need to do for me first to allow that in? What's really holding me back? And of course, work with a counselor, work with, a somatic healer, trauma healing, and get to the bottom of it so you can peel the layers of the artichoke to find your heart again.
Listen to you.
Very good.
Right?
I love the artichoke analogy. I got an artichoke today.
I love it.
So funny, so funny. You know, it's so. You know, I going back to what I said before. They really want us to experience love and express love and be loved. And when they go to that world, that's such a beautiful, loving space, and they want us to experience that while we're still in the physical as much as we can. But as humans, we get caught up in the head. You know, the critical part, the judgment part, the resentment, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. You know, I wrote a book called Unfinished Business. And really, that is to have no shouldas, wouldas, or couldas when you pass over. So make sure all of your business is taken care of. You tell people you love them, you forgive them. The highest vibration is forgiveness, right? So yeah, it's really interesting because they're always around us and they want us to live life. Don't waste our time here.
Totally. 100%. I love it. And everyone deserves love. But, you know, I always say, like, it's okay to date yourself for a while, too.
Right.
And then when you feel, you know, it could just be a friend or a companion, right? So I love it.
And then to be open to love and let it come to in all different ways. So, like, I'm going to vacation in Europe, and I'm gonna find my soulmates. I'm just opening up my heart. Yeah, I just might. So.
You know, and just saying that, I just might, is like giving the universe permission, you know, to draw that into you. So I love that you said that. And
yeah, why not? Life's too short.
And what about you? Why not?
Why not?
Life's too short. I love that.
Part of self-care, you know. You know, you have to love yourself. I mean, you know, and be true to who you are. You know, you're the only one there. You're unique. No one is. Everyone else is taken. So you got to live, be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
I know. And with all the heaviness going on in the world right now, it's like, allow yourself to love, so that, you know, that's going to be a focus instead of like social media and all the stuff. And, you know, say, you know what? No, you know, I'm going to focus on healing me and opening up to all that's available to me, whether it's love, loving myself, being something, right? Anything.
Once a day, Maureen. Once a day, everyone should love themselves and do something with love for themselves. Just one thing a day. You know, buy yourself flowers, buy yourself a piece of candy, whatever.
What was your word today for love, James? Because I know you're doing a word a day for love.
Yeah, I think it was passion. Not passion, it was patience.
Patience. Okay.
Patience. Yeah, patience. It's true. We have to have patience. And don't rush things. You don't want to rush it. You just let it be timing beautifully. Just, you know, it's like ice skating. Slowly does it. You know about ice skating, Maureen?
I do.
I know you do.
Wait, how do you know? Wait, how do you know?
I don't know. For some reason, that just popped up around you. Was ice skating.
I was obsessed, and I've been thinking about it every day, getting my skates on again.
There you go. Maybe you should.
Yeah.
But I like that subtleness of ice skating. You gotta be very careful. It's a gentle situation when, you know. I'm always gentle because I was afraid of falling in the pond, and you know.
And it's okay to fall, so you fall down 7 times and you get up 8.
Yeah, I was talking about going through the ice though. Which I just remembered as I'm saying this. My brother and I went to the pond when we were kids, and that actually happened.
Did you fall in there?
I fell in there, but it wasn't a bad. I was only like 2 feet. But I was about 9 years old or 8 years old, and he was going before me with his friends. That just came back to me.
He just put it in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that in 50 years. It's so fun. It's fun too. You got to enjoy it. Have fun. And like, wow, it's this connection with spirit is so strong. And the more we're loving and open, the more we can receive.
Right. And go to groups like my sister. Okay, this is a great story. So my sister Rosie, when her son Sean passed, 19 years old, part of his car fell on him. We just never thought tragedy would hit us, and it did. And then she got divorced, and she said, you know, it took a while, but she said to me, am I ever going to find love? Like, and I said, oh, Sean's saying that you're going to meet a guy named David who lives in the North Shore and, you know, has this, and this. And she was like, oh, okay. Sure enough, Match.com. She met David. I said, I hope you didn't say like, my son in spirit said, you're my husband. But Sean brought David to his mother. We know it.
Yeah. Wow.
Sure.
That's great.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Molly, what do you talk about when you see soulmates with people? They ask about their soulmate, and will I see my soulmate again? Or how do you deal with that from a therapeutic and mediumistic point of view?
Well, yes. First of all, when they ask me if they're going to see their soulmate again, on the other side, of course they will. Absolutely, of course they will. And again, I have several that just don't want to move on. They really only want to be with their spouse. And I have to, just understand that. It's just part of what it is with going, it is, whatever it is. But I also have people that will say, I love my soulmate died and I love it. And then they'll say this to me, and this will crack you up. Do you see him when I'm going to get married next? Like literally, they can't wait a month. I've actually had people that have gotten married within a month. I mean, and they will talk about their soulmate. So it's just interesting. It's all where everybody is. Everybody's in a different space of what they want to grow or not grow or stay or learn or whatever. Everybody's in their own space. So I just kind of have to honor that. Whatever space they're in. No. Wherever they are, that's where they are. But the ones that really kind of want to go, but they feel guilty if they go out, those are the ones that really need some help with getting out. So the tips that you've talked about tonight are really great for that.
Good. And I see that Lisa asked, can you touch on twin flames? How will you recognize a twin flame? So I'll give my take on it, and then I'd love to hear both of yours. But just what I know of twin flames in my own life is finding them sometimes later in life, or the second half of your life, or maybe in your 40s or 50s, and you come together for a purpose for humanity, or to give back, or to finish, some of your great work in this incarnation. But oftentimes you will butt heads. So yes, the twin flame, the ultimate mirror of my soul, the one, but like you can be like this 1 minute, and then I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. So, right?
That's exactly what I would have said. Exactly. And not everybody is going to have that experience here, and it's not necessarily the greatest experience either, but it could be, but it's not necessarily. So it's an interesting kind of twist.
And one thing I know about the twin flames, which is exactly what you said, there's a higher calling. They come together for a human calling to do something on a higher level with humanity. It's very true.
Yeah. And so as far as how will you recognize them, your soul already knows. Yeah. Your soul knows. With every relationship, your soul knows. And this, I'm going to throw everyone a loophole here. There's no past, present, and future, and there's no time. So it's already happened. You already broke up. You're already with this good one. You're already going to meet this one. So kind of like giving up control and just let it show up and just have the experience.
Just enjoy it. Surrender to it. Really important.
Yeah, very good. That. Oh gosh. Well, so James, so you have on Friday. Tell us what you have on Friday.
A group of 10, and it's a demonstration, and everybody gets a reading, get a really full reading, and I'm doing that, and then the retreat in July I'm doing with Sue White, and those are the two things I'm doing, and so those are the two things that I'm going to be working.
And so you have a couple of spaces left then.
I have 2 spaces left, Kelly.
Okay,
2 spaces. Good. And I'm also working with Shift Network, which is putting a whole mediumship program together. So that's really interesting, Shift Network. And I think, Maureen, you were going to do that, but you're not yet.
Yeah, it was a lot.
You're so busy.
It was just a lot of work, and I didn't have time.
Yeah.
To do the pre-work. I just didn't have time.
I'll help you.
I still would like to do it, right? And I have an online Zoom group next month that people can check out on maureenhancock.com. And then my university.
Tell us about the university. Yeah. What's that about?
Oh my gosh. So, for all things soul and spirit related. So we meet the first Monday of every month for an hour and a half with a group on Zoom. And first we meditate, then I answer questions for a while. And then we do 2 practice connections to spirit. And then I guide people along the way. And then on the back end, there's like a year's worth of 10-minute little short videos that you take at your leisure, from cold cases, crime stuff, psychometry, fun exercises, chakras, auras, intuitive eating, all my Chinese medicine stuff.
That's great.
So it's really cool.
That's great. And then we're going to do our workshop together, everybody, in April. So that's good. I think it's on right now, so we have it up. So there you go, April 8th.
So I can't wait for that. April 18th at night is a Friday night, everybody, for a couple of hours. And then the 19th all day. We're going to do a bunch of readings throughout the day, give you all kinds of tips on finding joy through grief, and good grief, so that you can get into a place that you become a clearer channel to receive and be your own medium.
And be whole again. Be whole again. Do that, soul again. And realize things from a different perspective as well. We're going to push that. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Exercises, and we'll have a good time. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thanks,
Maureen.
everybody.
Thank you. Wonderful evening. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Maureen.
Everybody. Thanks, Kellee. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.